What's up, firefighters? In today's video, I'll be talking to you about how you can organize your essay. Now, organizing your essay can be a very simple thing. So for those of you who are just starting out, I'm going to give you a very simple way to organize your essay. Now, I'm sure by now you all know the standard format: introduction. You give 1, 2, 3 points, 2 counterpoints, and you end off with your conclusion. It's very simple, right? So let's put that into practice. Let's try that out on the question: does modern technology always improve the lives of people, or the quality of people's lives, right? So maybe for your first 3 points, you want to talk about how it improves the lives of people. So you can say something like, technology is the great level of social inequality, right? For example, you can talk about the Khan Academy and how it has helped people worldwide to get better at math, get better at science for free, right? On YouTube, with the advent of internet, with the advent of YouTube, with this kind of technology, people can learn, and they can learn for free. And what this does is that it puts information, it puts power in the hands of poor people who can't afford tuition, who can't afford expensive educational lessons. And these people can just go online, log on to Khan Academy and YouTube, watch these videos and catch up with their richer peers. So from this you can see that technology actually serves as a social leveler. You know, it tries to reduce the great divide between the haves and the have-nots. So that's your first point, right? And your second point, you can talk about how technology has helped to increase productivity, and that this increase in productivity has also improved the lives of people. You can start with the Industrial Revolution. You can go on to talk about how Web 2.0 or cloud technology is revolutionizing the way we do work. We become more productive. We are able to open a document on your iPad and do your work on a train, carry it over onto your computer in school, right? This has made working today seamless. It has made everything so easy for us. So that's one way it also improves our life. That's the second point. You go on to talk about maybe the environment, and you can talk about how technology has actually improved the environment around us. For example, we can talk about how technology is being used to create renewable energy, right? Solar power panels. These are not rocket science. These are things you know in your daily life already. Hydroelectric dams. You can talk about other forms of clean energy, such as electric cars being produced by Tesla Motors today. So now you have your 3 points. You want to move on and talk about your 2 counterpoints. Very standard format, like I told you. So you can talk about how, from the economic perspective, while technology could be one way to improve our productivity, it also can sometimes be a productivity killer. Let's talk about the invention of the social media, Facebook, all these newer technologies that we use to connect with each other, to communicate with each other. But it also does things like it acts as a productivity killer. I know some of you, I'm not sure how many of you out there have been using Facebook for more than just keeping in touch. You've been using it to entertain yourself, to look at other people's lives, and as you do more and more and more of that, it decreases your productivity for some people up to the point where they can't even focus on their work anymore, and it becomes some kind of addiction. So in this case, from a productivity perspective, technology is we're actually worse off. It has made our lives worse off, right? You can also talk about how from an environmental perspective, technology can sometimes be a real environmental killer, right? With the invention of new cars every year, there are more and more gas-guzzling machines on the road. We have left a larger carbon footprint, and we have contributed to global warming with the introduction of these new technologies. So this is a very basic way, right? You give your 3 points, your 2 counterpoints, and then you conclude. You might want to try that out if you haven't already. Now, the other way of organizing your essay, the one level up way that some other students like to use, if you don't like you find that it's too simple to give 3 points, 3 perspectives proving your points and two perspectives showing the other points, at least you've already shown a range of perspectives. But if you want something different, you want to try something more, you can start by giving your first point, right? And for example, if in this case you said that technology was a great level of social inequality, you can then move on to evaluate your own argument by providing a counter argument. And you don't want to ascribe this counter argument to yourself, you want to ascribe it to someone else, right? Because we are going to refute that later. So you can say something like, even though technology is known as today as the great level of social inequality, some might say, or critics might say, right? These are the magic words that ascribes these counter arguments to other people, so you can refute them later, right? Critics might say that these Khan Academy, this free education, is only available to people who can afford a computer or an internet connection. What about poor people? What about those living in Africa? What about those who do not have access to internet? Are these people are they catching up? Is this new technology helping them to catch up as well? Right? You can then go on to refute that argument by saying that perhaps you were actually discussing this in the context of Singaporean society. You could also say that in many places in the world today there's free access to computers and internet in public libraries, and these countries that are left behind, yes, they are being left behind, but the rest of the world, the majority of the world, is actually catching up. So maybe it is unfortunate, but that's just the way the world is. Yeah. From an economic perspective, I already gave you the two perspectives. So you could say something like, first you make your point about how technology increases productivity, and then you say, critics might say, or some might say, instead of increasing our productivity, modern technology has actually decreased the amount of productivity in our life. The invention of social media, Facebook, Twitter has resulted in a decrease in our concentration levels, a decrease in our ability to focus on the task at hand, and as a result of that, people are losing productivity. All these you want to ascribe to your critics, right? And in order to refute that, you can say that, however, this is a necessary evil as a part of innovation, as a part of moving ahead. And sometimes these people who fall into these traps, they are mostly in the minority, or they realize it after a while and then they stop this negative behavior. Right? Similarly, for the environmental perspective, you can talk about how technology such as green tech, right, has helped to reduce the amount of negative impacts our technology has on the environment. But you could say, critics might say that green tech such as nuclear energy is really, on one hand it provides cheap fuel, it provides clean energy. On the other hand, after the latest nuclear fallout at the Fukushima reactors, right, in Japan, right, it has led to even more pollution. So you want to refute that, and you might want to provide an argument that says that, negates what your critics say. So what you do in this case is that you are providing 2 to 3 arguments, right, from different perspectives, from a social perspective, from an economic perspective, or a political perspective even. And then you want to talk about what your critics might say, right, in how they might evaluate your arguments, and you want to refute your critics. So you do this about 2, 3 times, 4 times maybe even, up to your needs, and then you come to your conclusion. So that's all I have for organizing your essay. I hope you found this helpful. Thank you.